So we were out on the site here in Rancho Cucamonga to figure out what the problem is they're trying to solve. I want to get with Len Todd. Len, how you doing?
Good, Rob. How's it going?
Good. Hey, so Len's one of the mechanical designers here at APT Water, and I wanted to figure out how you were utilizing Autodesk technology to help solve this this problem that you guys have taken a really unique approach to doing.
Well, the Inventor software is great in that we can kind of start cradle to grave, get our 3D conception of what we want to build, check for interferences, things like that, and present it to the customer, review on it with the team.
All right, so what pieces of information do you get to help lay out your design? And you don't just use Inventor either, do you?
Right, no. Typically I'll conceptualize the design in Inventor, kind of build it virtually using Inventor, but ultimately we use the AutoCAD 2D software to kind of detail all our shop drawings and kind of put it on paper.
Yeah, because DWG is basically CAD currency, if you will. It's
exactly,
the exchange mechanism
universal
there.
language, yeah. So
I hear more and more in this industry about how people are using the 3D model for so much more than just creating drawings, because if you're just spending all this time creating a model to create a drawing, you just create a drawing, right? I mean, what's the point of making a 3D model if you can't reuse it over and over again?
Well, the model's great in that, like I spoke on before, you can do the interference check, you can have something to conceptualize, you can have something to generate your bill of material, you have something to generate all your two-dimensional orthographic views, isometric explosions for assembly, things like that. So you save all that time where you don't have to physically draw that stuff. You model it and then you can extract whatever information you need from that model.
So is anybody else using your model in other areas of the organization? Are they using it to create renderings for sales collateral?
Oh yeah, marketing uses that. We use the Showcase software to render our images and for marketing literature, posters, things like that for trade shows.
So you guys just recently received, because you're on subscription, you just received the product design suite.
Right.
So you got some sketching tools, you got Inventor, you got Showcase, which is something that you're using anyway. I mean, what does that mean for you to have access to different pieces of technology? Are you just going to stick to Inventor, or are you going to find yourself start using others?
It's great having all those tools in the toolbox. Like I said, even the difference just between the 2D AutoCAD and the Inventor, it's like sometimes one benefits more to do a job than the other, and that would be the case for all those other tools as well. And essentially, it's nice to have that range of choices, to efficiently complete the design.
All right, so we got Inventor fired up here. So walk me through some of the areas of the design, and that's this design that was here that we just saw this morning. So walk me through some of the areas of this digital prototype that you feel really helped you guys kind of solve some of the problems digitally before they became real problems out in the field.
Okay, so this project was pretty interesting in that it's kind of evolved over time, and we've had to kind of adapt to some of the earlier stages of the project with the newer stages. So in other words, this tank had already been built, and we had to kind of design our system to that. So
I got you.
A lot of the internals of the pump skid, the design had changed, but we still had to design to the old design of the tank. Okay. So, and we're dealing with some large PVC pipe. There's a lot of cost involved in that. The fabrication, I mean, if we make a mistake, there's no going back. You pretty much have to scrap it, rebuild it, at whatever it costs. So having the Inventor software was nice to be able to take the tank and the pump skid and be able to marry them and kind of prove that if we fabricate it this way, it's going to work. So particularly the connections in between the two. If we would have got that wrong, we would have had a whole myriad of problems once we go to the install. And at that point, it would have really hurt the deadline. It would have hurt, the budget. It would have been a lot of rework. And so having Inventor, being able to marry it and see that it actually works virtually before we start the fabrication process is a real benefit.
So what are some aspects of Inventor that you would like to see us improve upon as we develop our product moving forward?
Well, like I talked about before, I'm looking to customize a lot of my tube and pipe, with our libraries that have all our information embedded into it. The publishing process of that, I'd like that transition to be a little bit smoother.
That makes sense. That makes sense. We've heard that from a couple folks. It's not as intuitive as the rest of your product.
Right.
And if we could work on that to make it a little more streamlined, that's something that we'll definitely take into account. I'm going to take that back to the guys up in Lake O.
Okay.
Thanks so much for your time, man.
Thanks, Rob.
See ya.
Thanks.
Finally, I meet up with Louis LeBron to see how APT Water is not only changing the way the water can be treated, they're changing the way that communities can afford to meet their water requirements.